Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer Miller, also known as Amethyst Winters. I am a mother co-parenting, I am an author, and I am a makeup lover. Today's video is my next video in my makeup and a story videos. Oh my gosh, everything came to mind but makeup and a story. I was like, no, that's not me. No, that's not me. Okay, so in case you are new to this series, the reason I did this is because I was like, I was doing some soul searching and like, you know what, I kind of want to see if I can combine my love for makeup and my love for writing together in a video, because yeah, kind of a widely known thing that if you do what you love, you will succeed in life type of thing. You know, I don't know, but so I came up with this. And so what I do, what I do is I have written an original story. Now this story, I have got about 3 or 4 for this series, and I'm only going to do about 5 or 6 chapters. They're going to be short stories. They will not see the light of day. They will probably not be published, not unless, I am going to go ahead and go in and go to, I'm going to use my Hip Dot palette that is part of my Shop My Stash. But anyway, continuing. These stories, I just created original stories. Now, I got to thinking one day before I started creating these, or I guess kind of the same time, which is why these came to life. I have a very vivid imagination. And my imagination works not all the time and not in every situation. Meaning that sometimes I can't think of a thing. Other times I think of a ton of things, but not always. So I think I'm going to use a combination of this palette and my, holy moly. Yeah, down there. It's my Project Pan. Okay. There's a few things I struggle with in life, and as far as doing the right thing, thinking the right way, being godly, overall being godly. And there's a few areas that I really struggle in. So my solution has always been, sorry, I've got to, and I say sorry a lot, my apologies. My solution has always been go into their heads. Try to think like them. And this was something my boyfriend suggested once, and he's absolutely right. So that's this story. This story is, we're gonna go in with that yellow color that just kind of seems to be the same color as my skin. And that's how this story came to light. If you are new to my channel and this is your first time, what happened, I read the prologue last in the first video. Apologies about that. Apparently it bothers some. And my apologies. I do not like to bother people, but nonetheless, if I have to clear my throat, I'm going to clear my throat. Just saying. But, where was it? Oh yeah. And she is a, at the beginning, I was introducing you to her world, and she is a beauty YouTuber, and she's doing great. She just hit 1 million subscribers, and she just got a major contract for makeup company, and she's doing good, and she's meeting with a bigger makeup exec in hopes of helping her start something. I just allude to it. I don't really tell you it, but you can kind of guess where that's going, and that's where we're going to stop with this. And she talks to her friends, and she's talking with her friends, and then she goes down because her husband and her are having a big dinner in celebration, or not really in celebration, and to try to impress these people. So that is where I left off, and that is where I will pick up. And oh, and then she something about, I say something about it because I can't read it because it disappears. So I'm going off of memory. And at the end, she is something sticking her in her dress, and she's trying to figure it out, and then it segues to where she wakes up. Chapter 1. Okay, before I start, I'm gonna go with the next thing that I'm gonna do for my eyes. And I am going to use this from my shop, Project Pan. And I am going to, I think I'm just going to go ahead and put it all over the eye. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it all over the eye. And it's, this focus is not the makeup part, so that's why I'm going to tell you now, and I probably will just start pointing to things as we go along. This might, it will be short, but it won't be. I will stop at a point and just finish up my makeup off the camera. So, so I'm going to go in here with this brush from Cargo Cosmetics. Oops, wrong one. Okay. Chapter 1. Pardon. Okay. Prue opened her eyes and rubbed her filthy hands across her eyes, a move she'd never dream of doing, but now it took an effort to remember not to do it. She had managed to scrape up enough money to go to the local retail store and pick up a duffel bag. It was a super cheap one. She found it for $10, but it was to carry her extras, not her day-to-day belongings. In it was her soap and towel. Luckily, this city had several little creeks, and every morning she would travel down to it and wet her washcloths, take out her soap, and wash up. Her hair had become the least important, as did her clothes, although she did manage to clean her clothes once every couple of weeks or so. Apologies. She had recently purchased one of those small flip notebooks and a cheap package of pens. She needed something to focus on, something to help her, and back when she had a therapist, he had suggested writing down goals. So, apologies. So that's what she started doing. They were marked in time categories: daily goals, monthly goals, and ultimate goals. Today's goal, get enough for a cheap suitcase. One for starters, then later on she'd get another. But one would do for now, as she only had enough to fit into one luggage anyway. Yeah, apologies. And there won't be any music because this probably will go straight up from my phone. My apologies about that. Someday that will change. Yes, she knew how to... Oh, my bad. Monthly goal. Earn enough to stay in a cheap hotel room at least for one day. She knew exactly which hotel, too. For when she last checked, and that was just a couple months ago, it was only $50. She'd already bought a prepaid credit card and put $24 on it to date. So $36 more to go. Yes, she knew how to add. The other $10 was for a meal. Her ultimate goal, get her channel back, start her own makeup line, and get vengeance on those who wronged her. True, it was a bit dark, but she had been betrayed in a severely heinous way. Heinous. None of her new friends would even know what that word meant. No, not true. Greg would. He was very smart. Hey, Prue. Oh, hey, Greg, said Prue, slightly startled and nearly dropped all her items. But luckily she didn't. She put them in her small bag. She had found it in the trash. One second. It had gotten something sticky all over the inside, but except for that, there was nothing wrong with it. So she took it home and cleaned it up with a baby wipe. Now she had a purse. It looked like the one she had gotten at Target. She thought she recognized the brand name too, even though some of it was scratched off. Okay, I'm gonna go in with this and go right here. What you doing today? Prue wasn't quite sure how much she trusted Greg yet, so she was always a bit vague. So she always kept it a bit vague. Oh, you know, a little this and a little that. She took out her baby wipe. Sorry, I read that part. So I know that's where I'm going with this. She took out, she took out her brush and ran it through her hair. It came to her waist now. Normally years ago she would have had cut, but now, well, a haircut was expensive and the last thing on her list of necessities. But maybe she could buy some cheap scissors and do it herself. She had seen some at the dollar and under store. Perhaps they would do the trick. Oh, well, good luck. I'm off to the corner. Oh, yeah, you too, she said politely. Of course, he was never specific about which corner, for as close as the crew was, they were very protective of every cent they made, and where they made it. But if one of them needed anything, they were always there to help. After brushing her hair, she pulled off one of the 4 ponytail holders she had wrapped around the brush's handle, braided, then pulled her hair up into a bun, then got up. Once she had dusted herself off and used a small portion of a baby wipe from her container to wash her face off, she headed to the Small Oaks neighborhood. Sorry. It's the only hazard about doing both of them at the same time. I don't want to take up too much time away so you don't forget where I left off. And so you don't get mad at me for pausing. Okay, I'm going to go back over here a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to deepen that up just a little bit with this right here. My other project manager. It was a bit more of a walk, about half a mile, but then she needed the exercise. Would never do her to get fat and lazy. It also, she supposed, said a bit by when she woke up in the morning. Typically, she woke up at 7, albeit primarily from a stick in her side or a rock jutting into her hip. No matter how much she prepared her bedding, it always happened. But still, it woke her up at a good time. She had a plan with every day's money. There was a bare minimum, of course. She'd work until she had at least $5. That was enough for food for the day, and one necessity, depending on where she went. Gratefully, the local convenience store she went to never said anything about her putting in her own microwavable item. Of course, she tried to do it where none of them noticed. However, the one on Spruce and Blue Jay actually caught her, and she was banned from the store. Sorry. Okay. We're gonna take that red shade just a smidge higher. A little bit higher. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Taking a little longer here than I thought. I kind of messed up, so I gotta fix it. Okay, I'm gonna smooth this out right here. And then we'll move on. Hold on one second. Okay, now that I got that done, I'm gonna continue. Hey, I'm walking here, she shouted at a car as she crossed the street. She supposed she didn't look all that well to make certain there was no car, but she did look. That was just the point. Apologies. As she walked the last 3 blocks to the neighborhood, a bright yellow Volkswagen Beetle passed by, and Prue couldn't help but slip back into a memory. Sorry about that. Okay. William. Prue had searched all over for her husband. They had just moved into the house of their dreams not even 6 months ago, and things couldn't be better. However, she found out the hard way that they could be a lot worse. William! There was a yellow VW Beetle parked in the driveway she did not recognize. William, are you home? As she climbed the stairs, she heard the sound of a woman's laughter. Oh, he had company. That would explain why he hadn't answered her. However, as she drew closer, she heard a woman's moan. The unmistakable moan of a woman in pleasure. In her house? To make matters worse, the sounds were coming from her room. When she reached her room, she slowly pushed the door open, ever so slightly, and was met with the horrifying image of her husband and her so-called friend in each other's arms. Feeling sick to her stomach, she turned to run. But apparently her legs weren't as strong as she thought. For once she began to descend the stairs, her foot slipped and she fell headlong down the entire flight. Gingerly, Prue rubbed her right hip, for it still gave her trouble until this day. The doctors warned her she'd gain only 75% only 75% mobility. But Prue was ever the fighter and regained nearly all of it. However, not without consequences, like never being able to have a good night's sleep without help from some type of pain aid. And since heating pads cost money, and the better ones required an electrical outlet, pain pills it was. Taking her courage in her hands, she took a deep breath and knocked on the first door. The cars in the driveway told her there was someone home. She hoped she didn't look as homeless as she truly was. Footsteps on the other side told her her first assumption was correct. There was someone indeed home. And I'm going in with my Mally liquid liner just to line the lash line. Okay, now I'm going to take my flower gel pen. I know, back and forth, apologies. That's the way this is going to have to go. At least when it comes to doing my eyes. The door opened a crack and a woman with brown eyes and medium brown hair appeared. Yes? Hi, Prue began. Sorry, I don't want whatever it is you're selling, and the door slammed shut. Well, one down, approximately 30 to go. This flower liner I will give a review on at the end of this month. Okay. For the next one, she remembered to show her bucket of chemicals first. However, the next house, she was in luck, for there was someone outside getting the mail. Hello, my name is Prudence, and I'm trying to raise money for my daughter's prom dress by doing odd chores. Do you have anything you don't like doing? It was a lie, but you could try her saying she was raising money for a place to live. Besides, since she started telling this story, she had been twice as successful. Says a lot about us, doesn't it? Actually, I do, said the bleached blonde with the bad roots. It's disgusting work, though. You sure you're willing? Prue didn't like the sound of that, but she was on a mission. So she nodded her head and said, I'm sure. I'm sure. Sorry, inflection there. Okay, well, what I need done is someone to clean out and around the toilets. I have 3. I've not been able to get them for 6 weeks since I hurt my back, and I have no relatives in town. And my husband is out of town, so I see. Of course, I'll make them sparkle. Do you have a preference of chemicals used for it? Already heading indoors with Prue right behind her, she said, nope, so long as I don't have to supply them. Oh, no, ma'am, I have them right here. Looking down her nose at her, the woman answered, good. Well, there's the first bathroom, she said, and pointed down the hall. 1 second. Okay, I went ahead and lined my water shadow underneath. Yeah, you got it, right down there. And mascara. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Project Pan stuff. Yeah, I love that. And finish up my face. I already shot my stuff several times, so I'm good with it. I am happy with it. I want to go ahead and start using my Project Pan stuff. Anyway, moving on. Prue ducked her head, ashamed of her appearance, despite how she had worked on it. The Prue of old would have held her head high while walking by, but time and her situation had beaten her down to where she had no pride left. She walked into the bathroom and set down her things. Upon first inspection, she didn't think it looked so bad, but upon further inspection, ew. Hair, ground in dirt, left for ages, and bug feces could be seen. With a sigh, she donned her gloves and got to work. She was determined to do the job well, for maybe if she really liked how she did it, how well she did, she'd give her more than the $5 she was accustomed to getting for this type of job. 6 would even be great. An hour and a half later, and an achy back later, she was finished. Waiting by the door, bucket in hand, she waited while the mistress checked out her handiwork. I am so buying this. I know, total change of subject here, but not really. Not with the video. I am so buying this in its big form. This is Ulta Beauty. Really good. Really, really good. I'm really impressed. Okay, going in with my Tarte blush. That is also part of my Project Pan. And we're going to go on. Arms crossed, the lady walked to her purse, got out a folded bill, and handed it to Prue. $10! She got $10! Holy cow! And she was excited about it? Yes, she was. You do very good work. I've not seen it that clean in a long time. Would you be willing to do this weekly? Say every Thursday at 10? Yes, that would work out nicely. I'd give you $15 because today was just to see how good you do. Prue thought, in hindsight, she did very well in hiding how elated she was at getting her first reoccurring gig. $15 a week? Money she could very nearly count on? Absolutely. Now, to answer her dignifiedly. Absolutely. There went her dignity. I mean, sure, I can do that. The owner of the house just smiled. Good. And my name is Mary. Mary Sumner. Nice to meet you, Mary Sumner. I would shake your hand, but Mrs. Sumner just held her hand up in a gesture that implied she understood. Absolutely, no problem. Woo! We like the blush today, don't we? We're just not afraid of it. Yay! Maybe I should go a little lighter on it this time. Yeah, that's better. That's what you get for not paying attention. Woo! We got the sun today. Last but not least, highlighter, well, not last, but almost last highlighter in, by Wet Mild, or Makeup Revolution. It is also my Perfect Chick pan. And I'm going to use my typical brush. Prue nodded and said, well, I suppose I'll see you next Thursday. Yes, next Thursday at 10. Don't be late. I won't be. However, she was going to have to get up early and had to do the local supermarket and had to go to the local supermarket so she could watch the time. And head. My apologies. Sometimes my writing. With a smile, Prue left and headed to the next house. Out of 12 more houses, she only found 2 that wanted any work, and one gave her 5. The other 3 had a little change. Sorry. Oh, my apologies. One gave her 5, the other 3, and a little change. Sorry. Yeah, understanding my own writing. My first time at this, so go easy on me in the comments. I write all the time, but this is my first time reading it out loud like this, in this format. Moving on. Oh well, it was lunchtime now, and she needed to get something to eat. She intended to work well into the sun went down today. Prue had decided a while back to save up for a decent-sized cart and a good cooler. That way, she wouldn't waste money on buying food out so often. That was one good thing about the lady who gave her $3. She had offered Prue a bottle of water also. Prue happily accepted. Ooh, we're pushing it on time. Now she just needed a sandwich. The local burger joint had regular hamburgers on special for $1. Normally she'd only get 1, but she decided since she planned on working so late, she'd get 2. Hello, welcome to Burger House. What can I get you? Just 2 of your specials, please. The dollar burgers. The young woman rang up Prue's burgers and then said, would there be anything else? A drink, perhaps? No, I'm fine. That'll be all. Okay, that'll be $2.18. Prue pulled out 2 ones from the $3 the lady had given her and 2 dimes and gave them to the cashier. Taking 2 pennies from the cashier, Prue couldn't help but notice the difference between her hands and that of the cashier's, whose name was Carrie. Carrie's hands were all soft and clean and beautiful file nails, where Prue's were jagged and even though were clean, still looked dirty in comparison. After taking her burgers, she snatched up the bag and headed to a far corner to eat them. Prue tried not to go to public places, for it was in those places that she felt most insecure, even the most poorly dressed and bedraggled of them, when compared to Prue, looked like they belonged in a mansion. Unconsciously, her hand went to her pants, which were her work pants. Yes, but they were so stained. She did wash them, truly she did, but it was hard to take real good care of her clothes when she had only a cardboard box to keep them in, and bugs were beginning to use them as their home again, despite her shaking them out daily. Sorry. Self-conscious now after I got a comment about that. When was the last time she had showered? Opening her little notebook, she looked. Last week? Goodness, she needed to get over to the truck stop and wash up. Luckily, the cashier on Wednesdays was really nice and didn't try to stop her when she went to use the showers. She needed to do her laundry again, but she didn't have enough quarters to wash and dry, and most places were kind of funny about giving out quarters. Still, she needed to wash her clothes, so she had to try. Prue stood up and grabbed her trash to throw it away. Just as she was throwing away her trash, a man walked up to her. Excuse me, miss, but I would like you to leave. Prue's heart dropped to her toes. I'm sorry? What did I do? I didn't do anything. I even purchased 2 sandwiches. Yes, ma'am, and I appreciate your business, but your odor and your appearance are offensive to my guests. Please, I got you an extra burger for the road. Now, please. And he pointed to the door. Prue was speechless. She'd gone over here over a dozen times, and no one had ever kicked her out. Ma'am, she snapped her mouth shut until lifted her chin, and grabbing her bags, she marched out the door without the extra burger he offered. Prue fought down the tears that threatened to erupt. Too many passerbys were around. No, she'd wait until she got around back behind the fence that separated the building from the apartment complex behind it to cry. However, she refused to run, but she couldn't walk fast enough for her needs. Head still held high, she rounded the corner of the next building, refusing to cry until she was out of sight. Just a little further, and then at last she was in the clear, and she loosed the floodgates. Tears ran down her cheeks as she thought about what happened. However, grief slowly turned into rage, for she realized something. She'd done nothing to deserve them kicking her out. She bought food and sat away from the other guests and everything. Grrr! She was so angry. But more than that, she was frustrated with her circumstances. She walked home, or the place where she laid her head down at the moment. Her stuff was there, and she needed to add today's earnings to it. Gratefully, it was still early spring, so the weather wasn't at all that warm yet. The weather actually made her feel good, for the sun was out and warmed her. Prue took a few deep breaths, letting the fresh air fill her lungs so that she could feel better. It was working. Taking a walk and taking deep breaths was calming her down. It wasn't long before she was home or back at her pad for the night. She located her little marker and rustled the leaves. Deciding not to let the burger joint incident get her down, she opened her tiny safe that took her 6 months to save up for. When her heart dropped to her stomach. No, her money. It was gone. All of it. All gone. Moving on to chapter 2. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 1. And I will pick up where I left off, of course, in the next video. Sorry, I do this a lot. I am going to work on that, I promise. I'm going to put on a quick lip just for completion, and then we are going to go and I will talk about the next one. I might be able to talk a little bit while I'm putting this on. This is my Rimmel Provoca lips. It's one of those will stay in place all day long. It does too. It's a little transfers a little bit, and not much. I am trying to upload these about once every 4 weeks, but this one was 6 to 7. I'm not even certain how long, but closer to 8 weeks, we'll put it that way. And I only do this story when I have time. Right now I'm working on my main project, writing project, is book 2 of my I've titled the series The Throne of Philonistia. It's the first book is due out real soon. It's ready. I'm just going to keep editing it until I have the money to actually publish it. But in my spare time, I will be working on chapter 2 of this, and I'm hoping to get it up in 4 weeks. It's not a lot of words. It's only about 2,500, but again, it's in spare time, and I don't have a lot of it these days. Not a lot at all. So I'm trying to do, I've got an update video coming up soon. Yeah, this is going up on Wednesday, so it'll probably be after that. Maybe over the weekend sometime, I hope. But it will tell more about my writing and everything, and yeah, all that. I did not think this would take that long, but I am sorry this ended up being a bit long. My apologies. If I can transfer it to my computer, I can cut it and edit it down a little bit. But if not, then it's going to have to stay this long. So my apologies again. I know I apologize probably 1,000 times, and some that annoys, but this is who I am. And it took me a while to change, and I don't really, not really bothered by it. However, thank you so much for clicking on my video. Thank you so much to my 190 something subscribers. I am very close to 200. I am doing a giveaway at well, in lieu of my 200. However, I have to get this stuff home by myself, and money's starting to get tight. So it will probably be latter of the, it'll probably end up not being going out till October-ish. My apologies about that again. But I like to do good giveaways, and I like to do nice size giveaways. So it will take me a while to get everything together, but I do not want to drag this all along. So right now we're pushing 40, so let's stop it. And just say thank you so much for watching. I hope to have another one up in 4 weeks. If you like these type of videos, please give this video a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you like them. It helps in the algorithms. If you would like, please hit that subscribe button. And I don't have a family. Join my friends. Join my friends. And let me know who you are. I'd love to know who my subscribers are. So shout out at me in the comments too. Let me know what you think about this story. It's not supposed to be personal for you. It's supposed to be personal for me. It's to help me grow. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you like this type of thing, and stay tuned for more. So until my next video, I will see you in my next one. Bye.